Hello, and welcome back to more Films Under Constant Critique, where we take a look at films, some good, some bad, and some downright awful. I'm Bongo Baikov, joined by our host, Maverick, Dren, Zaria. This week, we are taking a look at the 2024 travesty Joker, Filet Adieu.
Oh no, I'm not talking about this one more.
Yeah, probably for the best.
Can we do the intro again, or are we just stuck with that one now? Damn it.
This week we will be taking a look at the 1987 film, The Running Man.
Wait, I thought we were doing The Long Walk.
Uh-oh.
Or, Thinner. You know, the other Richard...
What is up with this Richard Bachman fellow writing books about walking and running?
Okay, this was released on November 13th, 1987. Was that a Friday?
Ooh. That's a good question. November 13th, 1987.
Friday. Yeah, it was a Friday. This was released on Friday the 13th. Oh boy. It cost $27 million and made $38 million domestically. This is an adaptation, did you have any comments about the box office?
That was honestly a little lower than I was expecting.
Yeah, considering this stars Arnold. This is the same year Predator came out too, so yeah, that's kind of...
Yeah.
Unless, did Predator not make a lot of money when it first came out? I feel like it did, didn't it? Yeah, it made money.
It had to have, right?
Yeah, it made like $98 million. That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
At least. I mean, I don't know if that's highest grossing of the year, but it made money at Arnold. This is an adaptation of the book by Richard Bachman.
I guess it's technically the second book we did by this author.
Kind of. Okay, so for anybody who doesn't know, Richard Bachman, he also wrote The Long Walk. Later, he was killed off by Stephen King, so yeah.
Yeah.
He died from a cancer of the pseudonym, if anybody knows what that is. So I have a copy of this book, and I have read it a few times. The book takes place in 2025.
Oh, so that's next year.
Yep. And it is quite a bit different from the movie. The characters and tone are completely different. Ben Richards is basically just a guy. He's not Arnold Schwarzenegger.
So a little less suited for this kind of game.
He has to make money for his sick daughter, so he tries out for some deadly game shows and ends up on The Running Man. And basically in this, The Running Man is, he gets hunted by some hitmen. It has more of a Most Dangerous Game vibe.
Oh, interesting.
Arnold action movie vibe. Like, he's not in, like, an arena or anything. He's just getting hunted out in, like, near, like, buildings and stuff. So, like, people, like, civilians, they can, like, spot him and, like, give him away to the hitmen if they, But yeah. And nobody has survived long enough to win the grand prize. The ending is also very different from the movie. In the book, he takes a plane hostage and is offered to be a hunter on the show, but declines after hearing that his wife and kid died.
Huh.
So he crashes the plane into the network building. So it's a very, very dark
That's
ending.
really dark compared to the movie.
Yeah. And again, it's from the same author of The Long Walk. So yeah, it's kind of interesting comparing those two. This was directed by Paul Michael Glaser, the movie, not the book. To clarify. Yeah. And Paul Michael Glaser also directed Kazam with Shaquille O'Neal. Or wait, was it Shazam and it starred Sinbad? I don't remember.
It could be both.
He was in Fiddler on the Roof.
Wait, he was in Fiddler on the Roof?
Yes.
Huh.
And he also played Harry Houdini in a TV biopic called The Great Houdini.
Huh.
Oh, we have a returning writer, actually. This is another movie written by Stephen E. D'Souza.
Oh, so the guy that did Die Hard?
Yeah, he wrote Die Hard and Die Hard 2 and directed Street Fighter.
Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot he directed Street Fighter.
Well, of course he did. Of course.
Of course.
So the cast, we have Raul Julia. No, unfortunately we don't.
Although I will say, the cast is kind of stacked in this one.
Yes, it is, because we have, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger again. I've had him a lot on the podcast. Yeah. Maria Conchita Alonso, who is also in Vampire's Kiss. The Nick Cage movie. And Predator 2. I knew I recognized her from somewhere.
So she was in... Oh, no, Predator 2 is not an Arnold movie. Never mind.
Yeah, that's the one with Danny Glover and Gary Busey. Although Arnold was supposed to
She was also in the McBain movie.
McBain.
How do we keep coming back to the McBain movie?
Oh, not the Simpsons McBain. That would make sense, actually. Because McBain on the Simpsons was just Arnold or Dolph Lundgren, Yaphet Kotto, which we've had him before. He was an alien.
Oh.
Parker.
Yeah, Oh. I thought I recognized him, and I don't know why it took me that long to realize.
And he also played Kananga in the James Bond movie Live and Let Die. Huh. So he was a Bond villain. Jim Brown, who was a football player. He was in The Dirty Dozen. Howard Hughes' favorite movie, Ice Station Zebra.
Ooh.
He's also in our next podcast.
Wait, is he really?
Yes. He's in Mars Attacks.
How could you also forget that he was in Small Soldiers?
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah. Maybe we should just do that. Let's just do a bunch of Joe Dante movies on the podcast. I mean, come Christmas, we could do Gremlins. That'd be a good one.
True.
This is a shocker. Richard Dawson.
Yes.
Who, for anybody who doesn't know, he was the original host of Family Feud. He was a panelist on the Match Game, I believe. Back in like the 70s, so like the baby boomers will know who he is.
Yeah.
And Hogan's Heroes, he's also on Hogan's Heroes. So a lot of old TV shows.
He was also Long John Silver in a Treasure Island cartoon.
What other... I actually don't know what other movies he's in. Oh, he's in Monster Go Home. Which was the the movie based on the
Monsters, yeah.
If people finally got to see the monsters in color in that movie.
And they got to see it again in 2022.
You could finally see Herman Munster's head in color. And yeah, there was also the Rob Zombie one, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen it, but I heard it was really bad, so.
Yeah.
Jesse Ventura is in this.
Yeah!
Which means two governors.
We have two governors in this movie.
Yeah, because Arnold was governor of California. Jesse Ventura... Was he governor of... Was it Minnesota?
It was either Minnesota or Wisconsin. I'm trying to remember. Minnesota, yeah. And he was in... He appears in two Arnold movies the same year, because he's in this and he's in Predator. Yeah. So, yeah. I'm actually shocked we still haven't done Predator on the podcast. So am I.
I think it's just because of how many sequels that thing has. Oh, wait. We've had him on the podcast before. I just realized.
On what movie?
He played a prison guard in another movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Batman and Robin.
Really?
I forgot about that. I don't remember him in it, but apparently he's in that. That's hilarious. But yeah, if anybody who doesn't know who Jesse Ventura is, he's the guy that says, I ain't got time to bleed in Predator, maybe.
Hmm.
We also got several singers in this. We have Mick Fleetwood.
Yeah, we have Frank Zappa's kid.
Dweezil, yes. Which I'm like, I saw those two in the cast. I'm like, wait, Mick Fleetwood? Not that Mick Fleetwood. What? Then again, we did have Alice Cooper in a movie at one point. We got Professor Tanaka, which he plays Sub-Zero in this.
Professor Sub-Zero.
Professor Sub-Zero, yeah. He was like a martial artist.
He was also in... I guess he's a recurring cast member. He was in Darkman.
Oh, was he? Right. I forgot about that. He was in a few Chuck Norris movies. He's in An Eye for an Eye. Missing in Action 2. He's in the... Right, I remember him in Last Action Hero. Because... when it's that scene where Arnold like asks to speak to the drug dealer of the house, and that's the guy that answers the door. Have you seen Last Action Hero or just
bits and pieces?
Bits and pieces. I figured, yeah. I forgot he was in. How did I forget he was in Dark? We got Kurt Fuller, who was in Ghostbusters 2 and Psych. I swear, every time I see him in a movie, I'm like, wait, where do I know that guy from? And I'm like, wait a minute, it's that guy from Psych. That's right. So I used to watch.
We've also got
show,
Roger Bumpus.
Yes, Squidward is in this movie.
Yeah.
As well as Sven Ole Thorsen, which we've had him on the podcast before, and a few other Arnold movies. Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer, and Total Recall. So there's that as well. And he's also in Joker 2. No, I'm kidding. I hope not. I wish nobody was in that movie, actually. That's not fair to those poor actors. Oh, the music. This is a big one, actually. The music was done by Harold Faltermeyer. And we haven't had him on the podcast before this. But he did the music for Top Gun.
Oh.
Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh.
So everybody's heard that music, you know, that's him. And Fletch. He also did the music for Fletch.
Huh.
Okay. Initial thoughts. Do you want to start?
Yes, so I believe that doing the Running Man was my idea. Because whenever I think of Arnold, there's like a couple movies that pop in my head: Terminator, Total Recall, Conan, and The Running Man are sort of the first four that pop into my head. Um,
And then like Predator as well. But anyway.
yeah, yeah. So I've seen The Running Man a couple times before. So I already kind of knew what I was getting into, and my opinions really haven't changed that much from like every time I've watched it. I kind of think the exact same thing about the movie, which is I really like the premise of like this killer game show he goes on. But I find a lot of the side stuff a lot more interesting than the main story. Like, I really don't care about this whole plot where there's like rebels and they're trying to like overthrow the government. I'm more interested in like Professor Sub-Zero and this weird like group of gladiators that Arnold is sent in to fight. I almost think it would have been better if like Arnold was a willing participant in all this. It could have been like a little funnier, just make it a little bit more insane. But it's a fun movie. It's a little off the wall at points. Richard Dawson. This is probably one of my favorite just sleazy TV executive roles ever because he makes it fun. Because it really feels like he's up there hosting a game show again, which obviously he has experience with.
Family Feud, especially,
Yeah, yeah. And thankfully, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's only an hour and a half, and it feels like an hour and a half. It's
Yeah,
not
I think
like...
it was like I was looking at the runtime. I think it's like an hour 42 or 43 or something.
something like
Hour
that. It is not
41,
long at
yeah.
all.
It's not, yeah. So it's about as long as RoboCop was then.
Yeah,
So it's not too long, but it's not too short either.
yeah. And so, although I wish that there was just like a little bit more to this movie, overall, I think it's just a really just fun movie.
Yeah. So this actually might be the first time I've taken notes on a movie while still in the process of editing the previous podcast. Because for whatever reason, it took a while for you to send the other one. I think there was just something wrong with the email.
Yeah, like it kept sending empty for whatever reason.
So yeah, it was kind of weird taking notes on this when I still had the notes for the other thing. Okay. Jesus. So I've seen this movie a couple of times. I think 3 times. I think I've seen it 3 times. Because I watched it back in like high school when I was just watching. I was trying to watch like everything Arnold and Stallone, you know, as well as a bunch of other action movies. The last time I watched it was during COVID, actually.
Were you sick at the time?
I don't remember actually. I think I was okay, but yeah, it's just. I actually, surprisingly, I haven't gotten COVID yet, believe it or not.
That is pretty impressive.
I have had close calls, though, like, really close. I am fucking lucky. Because I had, like, coworkers at the time who kept getting COVID, so they had, like, you know, I had to go get tested a few times, but anyway, and, like, my roommate had it at one point. Yeah, it was just, Jesus. But yeah, so this is my first time watching it since COVID. And I've always enjoyed this one. I'm probably gonna piss people off by saying this, but this is basically the Hunger Games if it was good. Also known as Battle Royale. You know, Battle Royale is probably similar to anyway. It never takes itself too seriously, and it has a pretty amusing concept. Again, it's just like a game show where people get killed, and it's like. So you got some, like, satire of, like, reality TV. Well, I guess this is before reality TV, but it really... you know, kind of anticipate that. And also just, making fun of, like, game shows and stuff. Like, it definitely, by itself, it's not, like, amazing, but the cast is a huge part of the appeal. Like, just the fact, it has Arnold Schwarzenegger and Richard Dawson going toe-to-toe. I mean, that's hilarious. Like,
it's just a weird matchup.
We're never going to see that again, and I don't know who came up with that, but, well, I guess Stephen King, technically, but, like...
Yeah.
Not quite the same thing. There's a reason he's not in the credits of this one. And I love Arnold's one-liners and kills in this. His one-liners really in this funny. Are so ridiculous. Like, this is the reason why you have The Simpsons, McBain, and, like, all these, like, Arnold parodies, because the one-liners in this are absurd. Like, and also just, I love the costumes and the setting. It's just so weird and so much an 80s movie.
Yeah.
In so many ways, because you got Arnold at the top of his game. You got just the weird fashion choices and, like, set design. The music, of course, by, Top Gun and Beverly Hills Cop maestro himself, Harold Faltermeyer. It's just... I won't call it one of the best movies we've done on the podcast, but it was a lot of fun to watch. It wasn't boring.
It is an insanely good time. Something else I should have mentioned. It's just got a good energy to it as well.
Yes, it does.
It keeps moving. It doesn't really slow down at all.
Maybe a bit towards the end, like
a little bit, but like not a lot.
But yeah, now I'm gonna crush your heart because Leonard Maltin.
Oh no, he probably hated this thing. I'm gonna guess he gave it 2 stars.
Well, he liked it a little bit better than that. 2.5 out of 4.
Ooh, okay.
He said, relentlessly trashy picture. Gets big boosts from Dawson's sleazy portrayal of the game show host. There's that at least. But yeah, so the story of this is that entertainment is heavily censored in the future. Like, free speech isn't really
a thing.
Yeah. The 80s. And one form of entertainment is a game show where the contestants try not to get killed by futuristic gladiators. You know what? I wish that 2020 Texas Gladiators had been more like this, because, I mean...
Honestly, this is what I was kind of expecting out of 2020 Texas Gladiators.
Instead, we just got another lame Mad Max ripoff, and that's, like, one of the most boring types of ripoffs you can do, like...
I just started remembering 2020 Texas Gladiators, and I'm actually kind of mad that I have to think about that again.
There's not much to remember, though. It's so boring, like...
I know! That's why I'm so mad that I'm remembering it.
All I really remember is, like... rape, which that could be Joker 2, for all I know.
Pretty much.
Okay. And so then Arnold, he somehow winds up on a game show, and they try to kill him. It's an Arnold Schwarzenegger action movie in a futuristic setting. That's pretty much all you need, right?
Yeah.
Oh, one thing we should point out, the year this movie's set in.
Yeah, the intro starts in 2017.
The intro's in 2017, then the rest of it takes place in 2019, which is the same year Blade Runner takes place, we should point out.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Do you think this is the same world?
It looks a lot like Blade Runner, actually. Like, some of the buildings in this were reminding me of Blade Runner. And don't they both take place in LA?
I think so, yeah.
They both take place in LA, yeah. So that you could... Maybe this is what they do for entertainment in the Blade Runner universe, the movie starts off in 2017. Arnold, he gets framed because he's flying a helicopter. Same year as Predator. Yeah, get to the chopper. But he's like a soldier, I guess.
Yeah, he's like a soldier or like a cop or something like that.
And his superiors want him to shoot civilians, but he refuses.
Yep, it was like a crowd of protesters trying to get food.
The hell with you. It's another Arnold movie where he says the hell with you.
But he refuses and is instead imprisoned.
Yeah. And then it turns into Con Air. No, it does. That would have been pretty fun, though, Arnold in Con Air.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, Con Air... Ooh, never mind.
But then again, you already have Nicolas Cage with a god-awful southern accent. So.
See, I was gonna say you could do Arnold is like the main hero of Con Air and Nick Cage is the villain, but then you gotta find out what to do with John Malkovich.
Switch it so that Nick Cage is playing Cyrus the Virus, and Arnold is playing what was his character's name? Not Casper. I almost said Casper Van Dien, but that's an actor. Cameron Poe.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Arnold, and so either Arnold would have to do a terrible southern accent, or Nick Cage could play Cyrus the Virus but keep that horrible accent of his in that movie. Put the bunny back in the box. Okay, so it flashes forward to 2019. We see Arnold with a beard.
Which honestly fits him pretty well.
Then again, doesn't he have a beard in Predator as well?
He might have a bit of one, like, towards the... I don't remember.
Towards the beginning, I think, right?
Yeah.
Why? That was another thing.
Shaven for most of it.
I was noticing with this movie is like this came out the same year as Predator, and there were a lot of connections to it. Because you have those things, and then also Jesse Ventura is in both of these movies.
Yep.
You got people getting hunted. It's a little bit different circumstances, but I mean... Oh, God. I just was imagining the Running Man game show, but the Predator is one of the hunters.
He's one of the stalkers.
God, that would be scary. He's one ugly motherfucker, so maybe he would fit in. Arnold gives a guy a lift. He like throws him. Again, his one-liners in this are so like,
yeah,
they're so bad, but they're so funny too. I think the perfect example would be like when he kills
Sub-Zero?
Yeah, Sub-Zero. Okay, so Sub-Zero.
Here is...
He kills Sub-Zero and says, "Here is Sub-Zero."
Sub-Zero, now plain Zero.
And he like kills him.
I also like when Richard
with,
Dawson, yeah,
like strangles Sub-Zero with barbed wire, and then afterwards he like says he was a pain in the neck.
I also like when Richard Dawson first sends him into the arena. He looks Richard Dawson in the eye and goes, "I'll be back."
Only in a rerun.
Dawson, yeah, only in a rerun.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites. And I mean that's again, that's the huge appeal of this movie. You got Arnold.
Yeah,
he's basically just playing Arnold. I mean, that's basically who he plays in like You can't cast
Pretty
Arnold.
much everything from this time period.
You can't really cast Arnold as a normal dude because he's just so larger than life in basically every way.
It's like trying to say that he's a computer salesman. It doesn't quite work.
That was which one was that? Was
That
that
was
True Lies?
Lies, yeah.
True Lies. I thought so.
Yeah.
I think he was like a salesman in Jingle All the Way as well. Like that was part of the weird thing about Jingle All the Way is he's supposed to be like this normal dad, but he's Arnold Schwarzenegger. How do you cast Arnold? Oh my god!
As a normal guy.
Like, you know, again, at least with Total Recall, he's a construction worker. That's a more believable job for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in this, he's basically just he's Arnold, so he's got all the one-liners. He kidnaps a woman and like, yeah. I don't even know why. He just breaks into her apartment and like.
So he goes into the apartment because that's where his brother used to live. And then he kidnaps her because he needs the travel pass in order to reach Hawaii.
He like takes her with him.
Can I say, it's really funny to see Arnold try to like stealthily get somewhere and actually kind of make it.
Yeah, Arnold's not really.
He's not really a stealthy guy, but he tried. He managed to get through security with only her travel pass, which was impressive.
I don't know how he's so stealthy. Like, he sticks out like a big muscled thumb. So, like, anyway.
I also like his look with the Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah. She like says, "I'm gonna throw up all over you." He says, "Go ahead, won't show
Go ahead,
shirt.
It won't ruin the shirt."
Or like earlier, she like asked him she's like asking why she should go with him, and he says, "Because I'm going to say please," and like lifts up the like.
Yeah, just breaks her exercise equipment off the floor.
That's another thing. Okay, what's with the? There's like these weird aerobics commercials spread throughout with Jesse Ventura in them.
I know, it's so weird. It's like the first time it played, I was just like, oh, it's just like an 80s workout tape, and suddenly Jesse Ventura's there, and I'm like, oh no.
It does just look like one of those old like aerobics hit because they're wearing those like red and blue costumes. It's ridiculous. You're half expecting like Richard Simmons to like show up or something. Oh, you see a guy's head explode at one point because when they're escaping the prison and they have like these like tracking,
they're like fence poles almost that have like. It's like a security system thing.
Yeah, and his head like blows up because he tries to run out of the perimeter. It reminds me of the Phantom Menace. Because apparently they have explosives on them, that's why they can't go anywhere. Of course, Phantom Menace is not a rated R movie, so they didn't actually show anything. Oh, Arnold gets nicknamed the Butcher of Bakersfield in this.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't he also get called Mad Dog at one point?
What, like Mad Dog Tannen?
Yeah, Mad Dog Ben Richards.
Wow. And because that was another interesting thing, was like how they used the television to like spread misinformation to the public.
Yeah, they would just like edit videos. They even used like what was pretty much CGI at one point to lie to the audience about what was happening.
Yeah, because they like pretend that because Arnold escapes and they like pretend that he was killed by Jesse Ventura, and then apparently the guy that was in the simulation actually died.
That was one of the funniest jokes for me because I took notes of that part. So I was like, seeing Arnold on the spike wall was kind of funny. And then the next thing that we see is that there was actually a stunt double that just got impaled on the spike wall.
Yeah. I remember seeing that, like, clip of Arnold, like, impaled on it. Or not even clip, just I saw a picture of that, like, years before I saw this movie. And I was like, oh my god. Like, it was, like, one of the most violent things I'd seen up to that point. Because it's really bloody. There's some pretty bloody
It is
parts in this
really
movie.
bloody. Although, to be fair, it is a pretty violent movie.
Yeah, I mean, the plot of it, I mean, have you read the plot?
I
And
think we should
also,
talk a bit about
some of the fake one of the fake commercials, I laughed so hard at this one. This honestly
Which
felt
one?
like, you remember that sitcom from RoboCop, like the I'd Buy That for $1?
Yeah.
This feels like it'd be playing on, like, the next channel, because it was the climbing for dollars.
Dude, climbing for dollars looks like a much less interesting game show.
I was laughing at how ridiculous it was, because basically it's this dude in a cage with Dobermans. He's trying to climb up the rope to get money. It's like falling
Without
down.
being killed by the dogs. It is so funny. It looks like they shot that scene for like $5, which just adds to it.
That might have been the biggest laugh I got, because I completely forgot about that part. That was so funny. And just the costume, just everything about this movie just screams 80s, but in the best way, because the costumes are ridiculous.
The costumes,
especially on like Buzzsaw, like Buzzsaw.
So Schwarzenegger and
Dynamo,
his like, two
Dynamo
prison
looks
mate
ridiculous
buddies
too.
Oh, Dynamo looks insane.
So there's a reason that Arnold calls him like compares him to Christmas lights at one point. But sorry, what were you saying?
I was gonna say, so Schwarzenegger and his prison escape buddies, they're in these like skin tight jumpsuits, but then all of the stalkers are in this insane getup. So honestly, I kind of want to start talking about the stalkers so we can talk about their costumes a bit as we go through.
We talked about Sub-Zero a bit. Sub-Zero is one thing I like about the stalkers is that the audience members get to pick.
Yeah, who goes after them?
Who goes after them? I liked that, yeah. And Professor Sub-Zero, he's the first one they choose. He's Professor Tanaka. He's this big Asian dude that plays ice hockey.
And so his gear, it's like bright red. It looks like a combination like hockey gear and almost like a samurai thing. And his hockey stick just has like a blade at the end of it. He has exploding hockey pucks. It's insane.
Maybe it's the fact that his name is Sub-Zero, but at this point the movie was starting to remind me of Mortal Kombat.
A little bit.
But yeah, it's just so ridiculous. And he's not even the most ridiculous one, because you also have
he's the first one.
Because Dynamo is ridiculous as well. He
So Dynamo is like this fat opera singer wearing all these like they look like Christmas lights all over like a vest with like a mohawk helmet.
He's like wearing like a Spartan helmet and like armor and with like just a bunch of flashing lights on.
And then he could shoot lightning out of his hands.
Yeah, he should shoot lightning out of his hands. He's like Palpatine. And he's an opera singer. Just what? Like, and then there's Buzzsaw, who rides a motorcycle.
This is probably you can probably guess by his name, but he wields chainsaws while on his motorcycle.
Oh my god, it's ridiculous.
It's probably the second craziest chainsaw battle I've ever seen, with the first one obviously being
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Dennis Hopper and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
The fact I knew instantly what you were gonna say, like...
I mean, to be fair, it's hard to top that one.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to. And, like, yeah, when Buzzsaw was attacking, I was, like, thinking that should have just been 2020 Texas Gladiators. It's just they're riding around on motorcycles, wielding chainsaws and shit. That's what it should have been like. And when he kills Buzzsaw, Buzzsaw is like, he's trying to use the saw to kill Arnold. He says, "This saw's a part of me, and I'm gonna make it part of you."
Part of you.
Then Arnold says, "That's all right. Keep it." And he saws him in half. And then later, when Amber asks where Buzzsaw went, he says, "Oh, he had to split."
Of course.
As far as Arnold one-liners go, I mean, if you just want Arnold just spouting off stupid one-liners and killing people, like, in ridiculous ways, this is definitely a movie.
This one's, like, perfect.
They're so bad, but they're so good, too. He calls Dynamo Lighthead. He's like, "Hey, Lighthead. Hey, Christmas tree." Oh, boy.
Then we also have Fireball, who's played by Jim Brown. He's in, like, a skin-tight gray bodysuit with a flamethrower strapped on his back.
And then when he kills him, oh my god, like... Isn't that when he says, like, need a light? Or, yeah, how about a light?
Well,
yeah.
So, he unplugs the gas part of the flamethrower, so there's just gas leaking all around him. And Fireball's freaking out because he knows that there's, like, a light on. He's like, no, turn out the light, get off the light, get off the light. And Arnold says, "Here, use mine," and throws in a flare and makes him blow up.
How about a light? Yeah, that was so...
And then, of course, we have the true star of the show, Jesse Ventura as Captain Freedom.
That was his character's... It was Captain Freedom, wow.
Yeah, it's Captain Freedom. And it looks like his costume has, like, an air conditioner strapped to his
For some
chest.
reason, I was thinking of Captain Amazing, but that's Mystery Man. That's a different movie. But yeah, maybe we'll do that on the podcast. Who knows? Honestly, that movie probably could have turned into The Running Man with some of the costumes in that. Oh shit, where was I? But yeah, all the costumes in this are ridiculous. They look like they're out of an aerobics video.
Especially Jesse Ventura.
There's just this really long dance scene that goes on for what felt like 5 hours.
And I think that's supposed to be like a eulogy service for all of the stalkers that Ben Richards killed.
Oh my god. Is this the most 80s movie we've watched so far?
It might be. It's like aggressively 80s.
If we ever did like Rocky 4, that would be a competitor.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah. But the main star of the show here, as far as the villains go, Richard Dawson. For sure.
100%. He is so fun in this movie.
He's basically just playing Richard Dawson.
He's not just playing Richard Dawson, he's playing evil Richard Dawson.
He's Richard Dawson, but it's a game show where people get killed, so...
He is so good. He plays such a good, just like sleazy TV executive, pretty much.
And he's pretty convincing. I mean, part of it again is because he was the original host of Family Feud. He has a little bit of experience. He has a bit of experience with it, but yeah. And he seems like genuinely disappointed when like the stalkers die too.
Yeah, no, like the crowds would get silent, and then like it looks like he was starting to mourn on stage the more they died. Oh, the Sub-Zero one is funny. Is the funniest though.
He's way too into the whole thing,
Yeah.
and that's another thing. I just like how it's kind of just making fun of game shows as well. Like, just take game shows to their most ridiculous conclusion and the most scary conclusion as well. Like, I found it so funny that the Running Man has a home game in this. And they hand out a copy to one of the contestants. Like, why?
That's one of those board games that I wish was real. Because I need to know what that would be like.
You can put it next to Nukem on your shelf
Exactly.
of bizarre fictional board games. I need to see a commercial for the Running Man board game. That'd be funny. 'Cause I don't think there is one in this, but they should have made one just to go along with it. Oh, we haven't mentioned our most important cast member.
Are you talking about Mick Fleetwood?
He's our second most important cast member. Our most important cast member is, of course, the fact that we have Squidward in this.
Yeah.
As the announcer.
Yeah. You don't see a lot of him, but it's really funny once you learn that.
Yeah. Because he doesn't really sound like Squidward.
No, he kind of puts on like a generic game show voice.
He kind of just sounds like the announcer voice from the Weird Al song I Lost on Jeopardy. It kind of just sounds like that. Arnold stabs a dude in the back with a pen.
Okay, I wanted to bring that up. So I wanted to bring that up real quick. There's a lot of like really minor characters who don't even have names that honestly get pretty funny like bits throughout the movie. So there's this one. He's Arnold's court-appointed TV agent. There's a scene where they're walking down a hall and they walk by Maria Conchita Alonso's character. And he's reading off part of the contract, and I picked up part of it, and it was kind of funny. So this little segment said, the parties have agreed to disagree. This ensures both parties are bound to certain obligations. Just kind of forcing him to a contract. And then he hasn't signed the contract, and so Arnold just stabs in the back with his pen.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what he said when what Arnold said when he like stabbed him in the back.
So after he stabbed me, he's like, make sure you send me a copy.
Okay.
But there's also some audience members that get to come up on stage.
Oh, yeah.
They're also really funny.
The old woman was the one that always stuck with me, that she, like, they ask her, like, who's gonna get the next kill, and she says Ben Richards.
That boy's one mean motherfucker.
Yeah. I always remembered that. And I remember the TV edit of it, too, because they had to censor it. In the TV edit, she says he's one mean mound of flesh.
Honestly, I think it would have worked better if they would have just put, like, you know, the censor noise over her, since it was supposed to be, like, a TV broadcast.
Yeah, that actually, yeah, that makes sense, actually. There's a necrophilia joke in this, because of course.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Didn't that belong in Beetlejuice rather than this? The set design, oh my god, okay.
Set design is fantastic.
Because you have the tacky 80s game show sets combined with futuristic architecture. It's just so funny, like...
It's insane. Plus, like, the arena, it looks like some massive, like, underground sewer system. I don't even know how to describe it, because the TV set is on top of the arena, but that arena is gigantic.
There's a lot you can say about this movie. It is very colorful, like the sets and the costumes. The lighting, I was watching this movie going, the lighting's pretty good. So...
Yeah. It's kind of insane that the budget was $27 million, because, like, the sets are honestly super impressive.
I mean, $27 million was a pretty
I guess back in the day, yeah.
Back then, yeah. That's higher than the first Terminator movie was.
Yeah.
And that's more money than the first Star Wars movie cost, so... This kind of reminded me... Another movie this kind of reminded me of... It kind of reminded me of Death Race 2000 a bit. Like, even the tone of it kind of felt like that, where it's like... They have to, like, kill people to earn points. Obviously, the circumstances are a little bit different, because in that, like, they use cars to, like, run over civilians, and, like...
I mean, I can see that with a few of the costumes, too, because when they first get down to the arena, like, everyone's sort of dressed like a gimp.
Oh my god, yeah, like Frankenstein and Machine Gun Joe, they would fit perfectly in this movie as, like, stalkers, One of these movies has Stallone, and one of these has Arnold, so there's another thing. If you ever want to see Sylvester Stallone playing a villain, there you go, Death Race 2000, and he's pretty fun. I didn't know
he was the villain in that.
He's a villain, yeah, and I figured you hadn't... You haven't seen it. No, I figured you hadn't. Probably just clips of it. It's a Roger Corman movie, so,
Oh, of course.
Maybe we could just do a podcast on that. It'd be more fun to do that. It'd be like, maybe kind of like just doing Grindhouse again. It's kind of it's one of those types.
Oh, just kind of like a schlocky.
Yeah. It's very, yeah. I also, the way they get into the arena is funny too, because they go down
it's like this massive tube system.
They go down this, like, metal slide in these weird futuristic sleds. And I was laughing so hard at that, because I'm like, that's so weird. Only in the 80s.
It's so disorienting, too, because that scene lasts a while when they're first going down it, and you just see him zip around every single corner.
Yep. And they go so fast, too. It's so funny.
You're going fast enough that it kills Richard Dawson at the end of the movie.
Oh, that was funny, too. That was another thing I always remember.
His death scene is so funny, because Arnold sends him down the tubes, and for whatever reason, the sled just doesn't stop when he goes down, so it shoots him directly into a billboard of himself and blows up.
And then Arnold says, "Now that hit the spot."
Hit the spot.
I love that. That's so good. And it's very satisfying, too, because Richard Dawson's character is he's so awful, like, in this movie. Like, he's such a, like, he's... Wow. That was one of the Arnold lines I usually think of. Or when Richard Dawson offers Arnold a job and like, a contract, and he's like...
You cold-blooded bastard. I'll tell you what I think of it. I live to see you eat that contract. But I hope you leave enough room for my fist, because I'm going to ram it into your stomach and break your goddamn spine! Ah!
Although I do find it interesting that Arnold, he says he's gonna rip out a dude's spine in this. And this came out the same year as another Arnold movie with spines getting ripped out.
About ripping out spines.
Yeah, because the Predator rips out a dude's spine. Oh, poor Carl Weathers. Rest in peace. Oh, maybe we should just do Predator. Anyway.
It might not be a bad idea.
Let's see. Where was I? Oh, they sing MacArthur Park. Wait a minute, wrong movie. You want to know something that happens in the new Beetlejuice movie, there's one thing. I do find it funny how after Sub-Zero dies, he's like, Killian, Richard Dawson's character, he's like talking on the phone. He says it was bound to happen because it's a contact sport.
I do like that he has to try and tell the government, listen, it's a death game, someone's gonna die at some point. Because it makes it sound like none of the stalkers have ever died before.
Or they just get shown, like... Huh. Do the people watching that show know that it's, like, real, or... I guess they have to, right?
I think they think it's all real. They don't realize when they get lied to, I don't think.
Okay, I figured, yeah.
Because everyone thought
that was another thing. Another thing worth bringing up. Like, is this just the first time one of the stalkers has died? Like, nobody's.
That's kind of what it sounds like, because everyone's dumbfounded when it happens.
Or I guess just that it happened so quick. Maybe, I don't know, huh?
Or maybe it was just Sub-Zero was just that prolific of a stalker.
Maybe, yeah. He did seem pretty popular. I mean, he was the first one that was picked, so he's got to be popular.
Yeah.
And I also like the part where there was a part where Jesse Ventura gets his commercial interrupted by Richard Dawson.
Yeah.
He's like in the middle of a commercial, and then all of a sudden, nope, sorry, we gotta move on to the next thing.
I think, okay, so Richard Dawson is by far the best, like, character in the movie, but I love Jesse Ventura's character.
He's basically just playing Jesse Ventura, like...
Exactly.
As like... an aerobics instructor, I guess.
Aerobics instructor who also plays a death game every now and again.
Yeah, because, like, another thing was, like, they fake bringing Captain Freedom out of retirement to have him kill Arnold.
Yeah. And, like, it sounds like he wants to come out of retirement, but he just doesn't want to do it with all the gimmicks.
Yeah, he just wants to fight him, like, just bare-knuckled, I guess. And they have that computer-simulated fight, so it's not actually Jesse Ventura and Arnold. It's like...
I will say, that's probably one of the biggest downsides to the movie for me, is that there's no actual fight between Arnold and Jesse.
Yeah, that would have been... Yeah, I don't know why they didn't just do that, huh? I guess they wanted to show off their computer technology. They could make some guy look like Jesse Ventura. Oh, and they also bring in Amber as another contestant. She's the woman that Arnold kidnapped earlier. And
kidnaps at the beginning.
She just randomly ends up on the show somehow. Like,
because she was trying to, like, break into the, not break in, but she was trying to find the recording of the tapes. Because she saw that they lied about it, but...
Okay, so when they select people to be on this show, is it just criminals? They just select random criminals?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just criminals that they pick.
And I guess they just selected the two people that tried breaking into the building? What? Okay. And that's kind of when she realizes that, like, the media is, like, making up shit. Because they, like, make up a bunch of, like, rumors about her, and she realizes, oh, Arnold, they lied about Arnold as well, maybe, you know. Which gets confirmed later. Oh, I do like the decode system.
Oh, yeah, that was weird. I'm not sure how that worked.
It looks like something you'd see in the control room from a Star Wars movie.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because it was like hexagonal or something. I don't know. It was anyway.
Yeah, it was like these weird 3D rods that like moved in and out to give you a number.
Interesting. Oh, I do like how Amber finds the dead bodies of last season's winners, or sorry.
Yeah.
Last
Honestly, that
season's
set
losers.
was pretty good. Yeah.
Because it turns out the winner, they just killed him, because...
Of course.
I guess.
I
Because
also liked it when Fireball, yeah.
They wanted it to seem like people had won, even though they didn't.
Yeah.
I guess they would want more people to be on the show. So anyway.
Yeah, and it probably helps the audience think it's more believable if they're like, well, somebody's got to win.
There probably are game shows where the results are rigged, right?
Yeah, probably a lot of them.
I'd imagine, yeah. Wouldn't know that for sure. And then there's some where contestant just noticed a pattern and then they pressed their luck and got a lot of money from it.
I understand that reference.
If anybody remembers that one. Or they just cheated. I mean, that's another thing that happens, you know. They hear their wife coughing in the audience, and that's how they know what the answer is. Or something like that. And then when Arnold exposes that that Killian is lying to people.
Okay, I gotta say, that scene is a little insane, because they've had access to the network for like 15 minutes and they already have an anti-Killian propaganda, like, basically a propaganda video prepared.
They have been waiting years for that moment. They were prepared. That's how you know these people are serious, yeah. But yeah, they hack into the TV transmission and show footage of they showed the dead bodies of last season's losers. Then
because
before there was like fake footage.
The night.
There was like fake footage of them like on the beach, you know, just basking in.
Yeah.
I guess they computer generated that or something. And yeah, they show the real footage of Arnold's
character not shooting the civilians.
Yeah, because they doctored the footage to make it look like he killed civilians, so they show the real footage of it. Oh, Richard Dawson drops the F-bomb at one point.
Oh, that's right. It's not very TV friendly of him.
Yeah. I think my favorite Richard Dawson line in this, well, besides only in a rerun, so I guess this has probably my second favorite. He like tells his people they're picked up for another season and they don't seem that excited. He says, "What are you? My people are an oil painting."
That one was pretty good.
I thought that was funny. And then the ending is like such a fucking 80s ending where like right after Arnold killed Richard Dawson, he like kisses Amber and there's an 80s power ballad playing.
Yeah, and then it just goes to credits.
And the song is, I was like, wait, I recognize that singer, and I like looked it up. Okay, so the song, it's Restless Heart. The guy that sang it is John Parr. He did a song that some people might know called St. Elmo's Fire, Man in Motion.
I don't know if I've heard that one.
It's like, you would probably know it if you heard it. It's like this 80s, it's such an 80s song. It's for the movie St. Elmo's Fire.
Okay.
You can look it up later if you want.
Yeah.
That song definitely outlived that movie, that's for sure. He was kind of a one-hit wonder, but anyway. But then if you look up pictures of him, he looks like what you would think he would look like.
Is it just like the most stereotypical 80s man
just
possible?
The big 80s hair, yeah.
Yeah.
He looks like Frank Stallone, basically. But anyway. Okay, we could start talking about it. You wanted to talk about the cons.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of cons, but I do have a couple.
I did agree with a point you mentioned earlier where you said the movie kind of loses steam when it stops being about the game show.
Yes, I was just about to bring that up again myself. I don't care about the rebel plot at all.
But they're
There's
led by
no weight behind it.
But they're led by Mick Fleetwood.
That's true, they have that going for them. But there's no weight behind them at all. All you know is that they just want to fight back against society, but you don't know any of their goals or beliefs beyond that. They kind of just show up in the last, 20 minutes of the movie.
It's kind of like the Joker movie. It's all about society.
Pretty much.
I wonder if Mick Fleetwood was he in the band Fleetwood Mac for longer than he was a rebel fighting against the system in this movie?
Maybe he did it at the same time.
Maybe, yeah.
I will say, it's also weird that the Resistance was just chilling out inside of the ring the whole time.
I guess they just escaped from... I imagine they were just old contestants from the game show that just escaped.
It had to be something like that, because otherwise
they don't
it makes
explain
no sense
it
that
well, and it kind of just comes out of nowhere. Yeah, it feels very rushed. It wasn't like in Total Recall where they set that up.
Yeah.
They set up that there was a rebellion going on right from the beginning, or hell, Star Wars, like right from the opening crawl. The rebels have won their first big victory against the Empire or whatever, paraphrased. Yeah. I'm paraphrasing that. I'm not gonna... It's there right from the beginning, basically. Whereas here, it's kind of just, they show up, and it doesn't really matter anyway.
It's like, there's a rebellion. We're not going to talk about him for an hour and a half.
It doesn't really matter anyway, because then Arnold just kind of takes over and kills a bunch of people.
Yeah. And then I also mentioned this, but it's really disappointing that Arnold and Jesse Ventura never get to interact. Except for the one CGI scene,
That's
really.
True. Did they not have any scenes together in this?
No.
Besides that, yeah, huh. Well, Predator. If you want that Predator, you can just watch Predator.
True, but still, I mean, they're in the same movie together.
Oh, another con. They misspell Squidward's name as Squidward Tennis Balls.
Tennis balls.
What were the other ones? There was Squidward Tortellini.
I think the other one was Tent Pole.
Squidward
Squidward Tortellini.
Yeah, Squidward Tent Poles. That was the other one. Thank you. Oh, man.
I also think it takes a while before we actually get into the game, because it's almost 40 minutes in before they really get there.
I didn't really think about that, huh?
It's basically like half the movie's runtime until you actually get to the game.
But hey, in the meantime, you could just watch Climbing for Dollars.
That's true. That is true.
Oh, I want to see a Climbing for Dollars movie.
We're going to see if Stephen King's okay with that.
Oh, what? Is he going to shoehorn in, Pennywise or something into that? Or
probably.
Jack Torrance.
Or the contestant has The Shining.
Yeah, there you go. Oh my god. Okay, I just thought of a great idea. It's a game show and all the contestants are characters from Stephen King works.
So what you're saying is you want to make Castle Rock Season 3.
But it's a game show.
Yeah, in Castle Rock Season 3, they incorporate the Running Man.
Are you serious?
No, that's not a thing, but we need to pitch that right now. Anyway, continuing off what I was just talking about, which is it takes a while to get to the game show. I also do wish that we would have just gotten to see more of the Stalkers, because they were some of the highlights of the film. Their designs were crazy. Their, gimmicks were crazy. I just wish we had more of them.
Their names were pretty good, too. I mean, Sub-Zero, Dynamo. Dynamo was kind of like Electro. He's honestly a better Electro than what we got in
Like,
an actual Spider-Man movie. So there's that. Jesus. How is that possible? I kind of want to see a Running Man, but with Willem Dafoe.
That would be kind of fun.
You could have him play
Honestly,
both.
if
You
they
could have him play. Would be funny. You have him play both a contestant and a stalker. I think he could do both. I think he'd be able to pull off both. He'd be able to, I think.
But see, the announcer has to be Steve Harvey.
Yeah, because he's the current host of Family Feud. Yeah. But yeah, you would think they'd be in a little more of the movie than they were.
Yeah, especially since like it's the whole point of the movie, pretty much.
I'm kind of running out of things to talk about.
Yeah, honestly, I think I hit all my major stuff.
Granted, maybe I'm just worn out because we keep getting off topic. Oh, what were we talking about again? Was it Megalopolis?
All right, if you
Madam Web.
do you want to move on?
Right.
The,
That's what it was. We were talking about Madam Web. That's right.
Yes. Do we want to move on to the?
I think my favorite line in Madam Web was, he was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died. Jesus, how the hell do you? The line's so bad it wasn't even in the movie.
No. Do you think we're ready to do the our final thoughts on the movie?
Is there anything else I forgot? I think I covered everything. Okay.
Yeah.
I think one of us is in deep trouble. Okay. Overall thoughts. I would say of the Arnold movies we've done, I'd say this is probably my third favorite.
Oh, wow.
Of the ones we've done on the podcast. I don't know where it ranks just in general. Because Total Recall, that's my favorite Arnold movie. And my favorite of the ones we've done on the podcast. And the second would be Conan the Barbarian. Are those fair picks for being better than the Running Man?
I think those are fair.
I mean, Conan you got Richard Dawson as the villain in this. Conan the Barbarian has James Earl Jones as the main villain. Rest in peace. But I do enjoy the Running Man more than the True Lies. I think. And I definitely enjoy it more than Conan the Destroyer and Batman and Robin. So that's kind of where it is compared to the other Arnold movies we've done. Like, it's kind of in the middle. There's probably a few I need to rewatch. But as far as Arnold movies go, this is definitely one of the more entertaining ones. It's not the best one, but it is a lot of fun to watch. Again, just because the setting's ridiculous. The premise is entertaining. You got all these just god-awful one-liners that are so cheesy that they come back around to being just great. Because that's what Arnold's good at, you know.
Yeah.
And then the fact you have Richard Dawson as the main villain, like, oh my goodness, I missed out on that episode of Family Feud, that's for sure. And then the costumes are, oh my god, like, just, it's there's so many choices with this movie that just make it, like, really, really fun to watch. Like, you know, if you like Arnold movies, if you like just action movies from the 80s, if you like futuristic action movies from the 80s, then yeah, you definitely need to see this one.
This film has a lot to really like about it. It's kind of dumb, It's got a really fun premise, the whole killer game show thing. It's very well cast. Arnold's fun, Richard Dawson is fun, Jesse Ventura is fun. It's got creative set design, it's got pretty good music. Again, like you mentioned, it's got those really dumb but funny one-liners. Overall...
This is Sub-Zero. Now, Plane Zero.
Plane Zero.
I love that one.
And the film does have a few problems. It takes a while before we actually get to the Running Man game show. And I still feel like there's not enough of it. But at the end of the day, it's just a really fun Arnold Schwarzenegger action film. And really, you can't ask for more than that.
Wait, you're telling me that, never mind. Are you saying this is a better movie than Joker 2?
Yes, 100%.
Not 100%,
1,000%. 1,000,000,000%. It is night and day.
Oh.
Anyway,
boy.
Join us next time where we'll be taking a look at the Tim Burton film, Mars Attacks.
Ack.
And until then, roll the Andy Griffith.
Good night, you stupid idiot. Good night, you miserable slob.